What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my college football rankings, ranking all 133 teams. And in this video, it's teams 50 to 26. But before I get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button to be entered into our giveaway at 500 subscribers. And we'll start it off here with 50 through 41. And you have some good teams here that have been ranked in years past that may have had a down year or just weren't good enough to keep the success of last year. And the team that stands out the most to me here is Michigan State. I'm going to be frankly honest. They're a team that really fell off hard after 2021, going 11-2, go to 5-7. I think they're going to fall somewhere in between there. Could be 6-6, could be 8-4, 9-3 with a good year. But they do have to face Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State this year. And if they can upset one of those three, then I think that's going to be a big step forward into getting back possibly to a Big Ten championship game. It's been a while since they've done that. You know, with the conferences pretty much just going best team in the Big Ten, State is very, very thankful for that as they were stuck on a tough side. Purdue is another Big Ten team that made it to the Big Ten championship last year, kind of by default, just because they are on that other side of the division, and they were the best team representing. Wake Forest, Louisville, and UCF. I think those three teams are going to kind of have the same season, maybe a little better, depending on how their bowl game goes. Then you have teams like Arizona, Baylor, Missouri, Washington State that just didn't exceed expectations last year, but they will look to turn it around this year. And then last, I'm talking about Cincinnati, and this team is losing a lot over the last 2 years. You know, before last year started, they lost Desmond Ridder, Sauce Gardner, pretty much their whole offense, it felt like. And then what did they lose this year? Well, they lost their head coach to Wisconsin in Luke Fickell, and it's going to be a big blow to Cincinnati. But, you know, they are moving to the Big 12, so this is going to be tough for them in their first year, and I definitely think they're going to take a step back. 40 through 31, you have 10 great teams that are starting to just miss the top 25 here. Auburn, I got to give them credit at 40. You know, even at 5-7 last year, they still had a very solid season. Just they're playing in the SEC and they couldn't get anything going. And when you don't have a quarterback, then, you know, you're going to struggle in that conference. Oklahoma State at 39. Spencer Sanders, you know, well, he's gone. So what are you going to do this year? 38, Keon Slovis. He was the guy last year that made Pittsburgh still relevant after Pickett departed. 37, you have Duke, and 36, you have Miami. Two more ACC teams. Miami with Crystal Ball, they really need to have a good year this year, or else, you know, he might get the boot after this year. Duke, just another program that's solid, putting up solid numbers, won their bowl game 9-4. And I think if you're a Blue Devils fan, you're going to take that every single year. Kentucky at 35, and replacing Will Levis, the mayonnaise man, is going to be the big question mark on how the new quarterbacks can come in and take over. You know, they are still in the SEC. You know, you've been two SEC teams in front of them with Mississippi State and Florida. And kind of same thing for them. Mississippi State has Will Rogers, though, that's coming back. Florida is losing Anthony Richardson, and their offense is going to be a big question mark for them as well. Oklahoma at 32 was a big disappointment last year. They were really high in the rankings, almost top 10 to start the year. And Dylan Gabriel and company just did not do well. But I do expect them to bounce back here. Maybe not a big year, but I think 8-4, 9-3 might be a stretch. But I definitely could see that happening. And then at 31, you have the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. And the Big Ten, it was almost theirs until they choked it in the last few weeks. And I think they, you know, are going to benefit from only the Big Ten taking one from each side still. In the last year, they'll be doing this. And I think this is Minnesota's year to possibly be that team to represent. And 30 through 26, we'll keep it rolling on the Big Ten. Maryland at 30. They have Tua Tagovailoa's brother, Talua Tagovailoa, and he, you know, was very solid at times, but then he had a game or two that just didn't look like him, and that's why Maryland struggled. But if he can hone in and be more consistent, this Terps team could get 10 wins. Arkansas with KJ Jefferson at QB, I think they're definitely going to be better than that 7-6 record that you saw last year. It is the SEC, and there is always one surprise team, and I think Tennessee was that team last year. But don't be too surprised if Arkansas is going to be that team this year. At 28, you have the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Really has struggled in the last few years, hasn't been themselves. The Big 12 has not been kind to them. 27, UCLA. No one really shows up to their games, even though they went 9-4. It's pretty solid for them. The last year in the Pac-12 before they moved to the Big 10. And how are they going to replace DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and Zach Charbonnet, which made up about 75% of their offense last year? So these guys are going to be very questionable coming into the year on what we're going to see from that new look offense. And then the Fighting Illini of Illinois round out just missing the top 25. And I put them here just because I think that Lovie Smith is starting to turn this program around. 8-5 last year was very respectable. And if they can put up another year like that, maybe even 9-3 before a bowl game, I think a lot of people are going to give him more respect at Illinois. And, playing in the Big Ten, it is tough to do now after this year, especially once they're going to have 18 teams in the conference. But those, Illinois, I think they're going to be good. But, Chase Brown is gone now and he is on the Bengals. So running the ball may be the big question. But if they can figure that out early and often before they get in a Big Ten play, then I think this Illini team will be really good. But that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you guys come back next time for 25 through 1, where I'll be breaking down each team more in-depth analysis. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.